The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys Storyline with Nick Eatman.
Good morning. Welcome to Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman. It is Wednesday, May the 7th. Man, we have some news already breaking. Happened late last night, early this morning, and it all got solidified here. The Cowboys have traded for George Pickens, wide receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give up a third-round pick next year, and it's, third year in a row they've given up a future pick. This will probably be the player that makes the biggest impact of that group. Let's hope so, at least. The bar is kind of low there with Trey Lance and Mingo, but third-round pick next year. Cowboys also swap picks in 2027, some late-round picks, fifth and a sixth. Cowboys will get a sixth in 2027 swap for the fifth-round pick for Pittsburgh. But the big part of it is a third-round pick next year for George Pickens, who's got 1 year left on his deal. Still, though, he's a highly productive player, stretches the field, big-time deep ball threat, and he's got some other. I don't know if baggage is the right word, but because I don't know much of the player, but I do know that he's been in the headlines a lot. He's clashed some with his teammates and coaches. Sounds like a wide receiver, honestly, to me, and a really good one. So we'll see how he fits with the Cowboys here and see what you guys think about it. 888-855-2297. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go to the calls. Anthony in Miami's first. What's up, Anthony?
Nick the Quick, what's up, my guy?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Long night. I just did I just saw the Pickens thing. I did a little security detail real quick for someone, so I'm watching it. So I decided to talk about that and the draft since I didn't do it last time we were doing storyliners. And I'm doing it in a poem, Nick. Do it in a poem.
All right.
Now
Anthony,
that thing we would change.
is this about George Pickens? Are we talking George Pickens here?
We're talking Pickens and a little bit of the draftees, at least three of them.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah,
Let's
we're
go.
ready, man. We're ready.
All right, let's do it. Change the pace, baby.
Hurry.
Well, we traded for Pickens, a possible great number 2 receiver. Only time will tell if he's a culture vulture or makes us a true believer. Yes, we drafted another first-round offensive lineman, and Tyler is his name. He's smart, positive, energetic, and wants to take D tackle's love for the game. With Ezraku on one side and Michael on the other, opposing QBs better beware and take cover. If he makes a full recovery from his injured knee, Savon Revell may be our future starting DB. Jaden Blue is an explosive, fast RB and is a pass-catching threat. If he breaks one to the outside, he's going bye-bye, and this you can bet. Long shots, Toye and Holden, they might make a little noise, and that's how I feel about our off-season Cowboys.
All right, Anthony.
There you go.
All right.
That's for Zach. Shout out, Zach said we to change the pace, guys, so I wanted to show my
I thought that was from the movie Mr. Deeds. Got cut off my beam. All right. Thanks, Anthony. First caller of the show. Let's talk about the trade. So thanks for that. Let's keep it going. Michael, Colton, California. Michael, what's up?
What's going on,
Oh, my
everybody?
God.
Shout out to the whole Cowboys
All right.
Nation.
Cross him off the list of people that we need to worry about. Man, it's been a little bit. But that's okay.
Man, yes, sir. I'm good, man. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the concern. Even shout out to Irene. She messaged me the other day, and she asked me the same thing if I was okay. But I just been working a whole lot.
That's
but,
all right. Well, good
I
for
just
you.
want to say that's what I call all in, and I like what Jerry Jones is doing, and I got to make it quick, but thank you for taking my call.
Okay.
And God bless the whole Cowboys Nation, man, and you guys are great. I'm listening all the time, man.
Good.
You guys have a good one.
Thank you, Michael. And he made the all storyline team. Maybe that was it. Maybe he called in and was like, I gotta get my mug, which I forgot to bring here, the Yeti mug for the all storyline team members. Michael made it. He was destined for first team, but then, like he said, he had work duty. and he couldn't call in as much, or for a while. It took a while to hear from him, but that's okay. Still made the team, still listening, which is the most important thing. We really appreciate that for sure. All right, let's keep it going here. Let's see if somebody wants to talk about the trade. Sebastian in Savannah, Georgia. Sebastian, what's up, man?
What's going on there, Mr. Even? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah. So first off, hell to the yes. I love it. Second, thank you, Antonio Brown, for being such a headache to Pittsburgh that they're not willing to deal with another one. I like what they did here. First off, because, we were all up in arms. I wanted the corner. We got the corner. I wanted the receiver. We went and got the receiver. But a known commodity, the Reggie Wayne to our Marvin Harrison on our team.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like CeeDee's a better guy. This is a legit receiving threat. That's beautiful, Mr. Eatman.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, hey, Katy Perry and Gayle King must have brought back some aliens from outer space because I don't recognize my front office right now. What's going on? We're making off-season moves. But I'm loving it. I'm having a great day. I was having an okay day, and now I'm having a great day. I love that pickup.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones said, soft rebuild my behind. We're trying to win now, and I like it.
Yeah.
Giving Brian everything he has. But like I was saying online, I hope this is the start of a Hall of Fame coaching career for Brian Schottenheimer. I like that guy.
Yeah.
When he speaks, you sit up and you lean forward and you're like, I believe in this guy. And I can see what they saw in him to hire him. I just hope it translates to the field. But I'm going to let you go because I know a lot of people want to get through. And you have a great day.
Thanks, Sebastian. You're right. Everything you said is right. And then I hope we all hope it translates to the field. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Whatever you think about Jason Garrett now, remember what the feelings were about him in 2011. This is everyone's favorite backup quarterback. What a great story. 1994 Thanksgiving game. Everyone loves Garrett. He won some games. He comes in as an interim coach. They 1-17. They go 5-3 down the stretch, win some games. He's the head coach. All the excitement. And then whatever you think about him now, just remember, he went 8-8 3 years in a row. So he has to win, and everyone knows that. Nobody knows that more than Brian Schottenheimer, who's been around for a long time. His dad, he dealt with it when he was a young kid with his dad. So he understands the process. He's doing what he can to do that. Yes, culture's a big deal. There's no doubt about it. We heard it several times through the draft. But, and I was talking upstairs with Derek Eagleton just now about the same thing. This is why you bring in culture. So you can, and we're not saying that he's a bad guy. Whatever it is, we'll find out. There's been players that have come here with needing a fresh start, needing a second chance, Charles Haley, that have come in and were great players and then got even better with the culture around it. That's why you build the culture that you have. I think he's excited to be here, get a fresh start. I think CeeDee's excited, and I'm sure Dak Prescott is excited about it as well. We'll talk a little bit more about what he brings to the offense, later in the show. All right, Brian in Kansas City is next. Brian, what's up? Brian, are you there? Or is it Ali? Is that next? Ali. Sorry, snuck that in there. Ali in Florida, what's up?
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Pretty good, buddy. Miss you, Mr. Storyliners. Thank you very much for putting my name to the Storyline team.
Yeah.
I'm like an ugly duckling of the program, but I get there. First, I want to shout out. I just got home Sunday, and shout out to Randy. I didn't know. I hope he's doing better. Second, I want to wish every mother's a happy Mother's Day, and just tell them that for every child they give birth, God give them 50% clear their sin. So it's just like it's a good record to have. Thank you for Woody's frame. It was an awesome presentation, and I'm so happy to see him smile. And as far as the Pickens is concerned, I think it's worth a shot. And if Cowboys finish in the maybe first round of playoff, at least they get a very, very low draft pick to Pittsburgh, or maybe third round. It could be the fourth round. But I think it's a great pick. Hopefully Cowboys have enough staff to make sure keep them in line. And that's all I have. Love you, brother. Miss you.
Thanks.
And thank you for everything.
All right. Thanks, Ali. Appreciate that. A lot packed into that call. I hadn't heard from you in a while. Yes, we thank you for providing that photo. We could give to Darren Woodson. He loved it, by the way. Took it with him, great stuff. I'd like to think we'll have, and we're hoping for an update today from Randy himself. Hopefully he can call in. We'd love to hear from him. We've heard a little bit. My mom has actually talked to Randy. My mom lives in Texarkana as well. My mom actually talked to Randy on the phone and gave a report that he's doing really well. So, I got that from my mom who called in. Texarkana is still kind of a small town. You can get people's numbers. So she was able to do that, talk to him. Everything I'm not going to say everything is great, but I think that he's in recovery and doing well, and he's excited about where things are going to go from here. But still, I'd like to hear from him to tell that. Hopefully, we can do that soon. All right. Guys, they did trade for a wide receiver today, George Pickens. So that's I know some people have sort of talked about it. There's a lot to be packed into this show. It's been an early morning for a lot of us, just trying to get this thing done and read up on this guy and figure out what kind of player and person that the Cowboys are getting. But still, overall, I think it's exciting. Ali said it worth the shot. Yeah, it's worth the shot. I mean, that's what you want to win. You want to win games. So I'm not going to say all in or whatever, but you want to go out there and win. I think this was, of all the receivers that were being mentioned, of guys possibly they could trade for, this was by far the best of the group. But it's just that, do you want to deal with it? Is he good enough to deal with that kind of stuff? And we'll see. And we'll see what kind of stuff that really is. I don't want to paint the picture of a guy. It sounds like he's a guy that when he doesn't get the football, he gets frustrated. Oh, yeah, those guys. Yeah, like I said before, that's called wide receiver. And how you can handle it. Des Bryant was the same way. Antonio Bryant was the same way. Michael Irvin. CD's the same way. My God, CD walks up and down the sideline. When he gets upset, frustrated about things, he wants the ball. Great players want the football. Figure out a way to get him the football. I think it's a great move because now you've got two receivers. You see other teams in the league that have two receivers. Philadelphia being one of them. I mean, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are really, really good players. And that opens up a running game. Barkley's amazing, but I mean, 2,000 yards, I think it's been opened up by great wide receivers. I'm not saying the Cowboys will have a 2,000-yard rusher, but I am saying that it's going to be hard to cover a lot of great weapons, especially one like Pickens who can stretch the field. All right, let's go to Brian in Kansas City.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, Brian, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Glad to hear good news about Randy. And just thinking as you were saying that, what a family show we have. Your mom called one of our sick listeners. I mean, what more of a family show could there possibly be? True.
I mean, yeah, I was proud of that. She said, guess who I talked to today? And I was like, Kenny Gant. I mean, I don't know. Right. what? At Randy. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited about the trade, man. That's the first thing I saw when I got up today. And was a little post by Kavanaugh talking about the trade, and I was just so excited. This is the last thing out of all the things that I had hoped for in this off season. And everybody, not just me, everybody knew when we were going into the draft, like, wow, did we really just go through the draft and not get a wide receiver? But, everybody knew we needed a running back, we needed a one-tech, we needed a wide receiver. Everybody knows, a corner, And this was the last one. This is the last position where I thought, boy, we can't go forward without some help. And that just seeing that was exciting. And, the thing it tells you what they think about Mingo, though, because, they made that move last year. You take your shot, right? It is what it is. You took your shot. Doesn't sound like they think it's a promising shot, and this hopefully will make a big difference. I'm now hoping if we get 23 Ferguson instead of 24 Ferguson, I think we've got a really legitimate shot at being back in the top 10 offense
Yeah.
Firing on all cylinders. Anyway, that's all I got to say, and I'm sure everybody else wants to call in and talk about it.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Right.
Thanks for the call, Brian. Yeah, it's been an interesting morning for sure. And this is what happens when we do a show once a week. I mean, I would like to do more shows. Now you try to do a show once a week, you feel like you got to go in, and if you're writing a poem, you got to throw that in there. You got to do shout out to Randy, which I 100% support that. But I mean, it's one of those things. There's a lot going on. A lot of people have things to say. I understand that. This is just so happens. This is big. Happened on a big day. Got to balance all that. So as for you said talked about Jake Ferguson 2023 Ferguson. Well, that year Brandon Cooks really was kind of coming into his own there as the season went on with CD, both of them, and were two dynamic players. And then I think the guy that was benefiting the most was Ferguson. So that's the type. I'm not saying Cooks. I mean, he could stretch the field. They didn't always utilize him the best way, but this guy, he needs. That's the biggest thing. Like you see. All of these stats for Pickens. He led the NFL in yards per catch, over 18 yards in 2023. He was the only player in the NFL in 2023 with 2 touchdowns in a game of 66 yards or more. I mean, he had the longest of it with an 83, and then he also had 66. Same game. So that's and I know they didn't have CD on the other side. So the Cowboys have got a guy that can stretch the field. That's one thing they got to make sure and do is utilize him the right way. I'm sure they will, but that's he's a playmaker, and it's not just deep ball down the field. I mean it's a run after catch guy as well. So to answer your question about Ferguson, I mean there's no more excuses on that. I mean you've got 2 dynamic type players on the outside, and he's got to stay healthy. But if they can get a good running game, 2 dynamic players, I mean, that's when your tight end really should be great. That's what it was back in the 90s. Alvin Harper was that type of guy to Michael Irvin. Of course, they had Emmett, and then Jay Novacek sat there and ate up the defenses all day long. So you'd like to have something like that if possible. All right, let's go to Robbie, Cocoa Beach, Florida. Robbie, what's up?
What's up, Nick? What do you think of the pick?
I liked it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. My only concern, let's talk concern first and bad.
Okay.
So the kid's kind of a dumbass, right?
You said that. I'm not saying. I don't know. I've never met him. I never met him, and I don't think you have either. So
no, I haven't. You're right.
We're going off
the way the media portrays him, and the way the team talks about him.
Definitely not going to say that about the guy. I don't know. I think he's a badass. That's what I think as a wide receiver.
He is definitely a badass.
And so
for sure.
that's what I think we need to focus on. It sounds like when he doesn't get the football, he gets frustrated. He's also.
But isn't that all wide receivers?
It is true.
Any good wide receiver, anyways, at least.
Yes, and it's also. Let me say this: 21, 22, and 23 years old. That's how old he's been in those 3 years.
Yep.
We have
he's
people
24 this year, which is
that
beautiful.
I work. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
And he's 24 years old, man, and he's young, still in his first contract. $3.5 million? Oh my God! If things work out and we can get him on the straight and narrow, him and CD could be together for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah, we got to re-sign him. Obviously, have to re-sign him.
Of course.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it if it works out, and don't sit here and tell us that Dak Prescott is this great leader and all these other guys around him are great leaders and all this culture. If you can't bring a guy like in, that's what it's for. It's for
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
You have a great leader, lead, and I think Dak. We'll be able to do that. And also what I was trying to say is that it's not just wide receivers, it's young people in general. That they want what they want. Now no one has a lot of patience. I get that. And it's not just for wide receivers. It's for people that we work in the office. 21, 22, 23 years old, they want everything. There's a level of maturity that all players need, all people need to figure out. So hopefully that will happen with him. I'm not going to sit here and label him as anything other than what I see on stats. And the stats that I see is that he's a really great player that can produce. He's got to channel some things, but don't we all,
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, I mean, look at Des Bryant when he first came to the Cowboys.
When he left the Cowboys, I mean,
when he left the Cowboys,
Des Bryant his whole career.
But when he was on the field, he was as least according to what we saw. He didn't seem like he was a locker room disruption because he was like Michael Irvin, wanted the ball and was loud about it.
One day he did disrupt the locker room pretty good, but
did he? Okay, I don't remember that.
You've seen it. Fix this, Rich. I mean, you've seen that.
Right.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, is he worth it? Is this player worth all the headaches? And if there are a lot of headaches,
worth the squeeze?
Yeah. So
how about y'all fix this, Rick?
I didn't know we had a drop. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. He can be disruptive, but I mean, here's another thing. You have another. I'll have another Dez story about that. But do you have anything else, Robbie?
No, man. I'm just wanted to say that Shotty's got me wanting to drink the Kool-Aid again this year, man. The whole culture and all this stuff and putting pieces into place.
Yeah.
I'm getting hopeful again, Nick. It's scaring me.
All right. Well, that's good.
And I hope it works out.
It's called being a fan.
And we'll see.
All
yes,
right,
sir. Like every day.
Yeah.
All right. Love you guys.
See
Be
ya.
safe. Thanks, sir.
All right. Bye. All right. I lost my train of thought there. A Dez Bryant story. Well, the thing about Dez, it's not really a story. It's just the way that Dez, his attitude, what he brought to the team, the feistiness. I mean, he would always raise the level of intensity of the entire practice just because he was so competitive. And I don't know if Pickens is that type of guy. I don't know anything about him. I just know that if you're highly competitive and you want the ball, you want to make plays, it doesn't matter if it's Sunday night with the lights coming on. It can be on a Wednesday morning practice in Oxnard or out here at the Star. And whatever that does to raise the intensity of the defensive backs. Now they're tired of hearing it. So now that they want to stop him, next thing you know, you've got to make sure you don't get fights in practice. But the next thing you know, you're having a really spirited practice. That is what Dez Bryant brought to the table. And if a guy like Pickens can do that as well, and he brings emotion to the field, and that makes you have really good practices, then your team is getting better for sure. All right, let's go to Dylan, Northport, Florida. Dylan, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Last year I called in and I talked about the team being like a rudderless ship. Like I just couldn't see like a direction where this thing was going. There was no identity on the team. But now with Shotty, made an effort to obviously get better in the run game, and they want to be physical. And Shotty said that over and over and over. And they showed that in the draft by drafting the guy in the first round, Booker, and then the running back later. And you know what happens when you run the ball, Nick? All of a sudden, safeties start cheating up a little bit. You start playing more stack boxes. Now all of a sudden, you've got one of the league's best deep threats, playing across from a top 3 receiver in the league, and you don't forget about Ferguson either and some of the other guys they have. But Pickens was first last year as far as catches beyond 20 yards, some more yards than anybody else on deep balls. So he's a legit deep threat. He obviously has some yak ability as well. But all of a sudden, this team is starting to form an identity, and this offense is becoming a little bit scarier, defensively. I still want to see them grab a veteran one technique maybe after the post-June 1st cuts happen, and there's some guys out there. Actually, I'm still really nervous about being able to stop the run. But offensively, this thing's starting to look good, and I'm still worried about Guyton. That's a big question mark for me. But other than him, I'm pretty good with where this offense is heading.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you be? Yeah, because you're right. All of these things will open up and help the others. It helps the tight end, helps the running back. Just like you said, this is probably one of the best deep threat players that we've seen the Cowboys have in a while. Now, Brandon Cooks was supposed to be that. They just didn't use him that way. So that's one. That's the only concern would be is Dak going to get him the ball that type of way? But Russell Wilson did, and Fields, and maybe not to the level of his desires, but I do think that he can get the ball down the field to him. And he hasn't played the other side of CD either, and CD really hasn't played with a guy like this either. So that's what's exciting.
Do you think they're going to be working on an extension for him right away, or they think they're going to play out this last year and then see kind of where it goes?
I think that's a great question, and that's one that obviously has been discussed. What kind of game do you want to play there? Do you want to say, let's wait and see? Because if he does blow up, then you've got a, quote, problem in hand. Do you think you can get it done now? If so, I mean, I would be fine with an extension, but I think with him, he's probably not wanting to do that. I think he would want to wait. I would imagine, wait and see how this year goes, and then see what the market looks like for him. So it's probably like a lot of players. The Cowboys would like to get it done, now, but their agent and the player might not be in the same kind of rush.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the market right now for him just from stuff I've gathered online, 20 to 25 mil a year average right now if he signs. You can push that closer to 30 if he balls out. So you're absolutely right. Got to have interest from both sides. I think it would behoove the Cowboys to really stress it and try to extend him now. But, who knows if he's going to be interested or not. So we'll see, man. He's got to take the field, like Chris Dean said on when I was on hold there. I was talking to him. He's got to take the field first, and we'll see what he can do. But I think this is a step in the right direction, a huge move for this team.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Dylan, appreciate that. Good stuff here. Let's go to one more caller before we go to break. Nico in Colorado Springs is next. Nico, what's up?
What's going on, Nick? How are you, sir?
Good.
Long time no chat.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm doing good. First, prayers and thoughts out to Randy, as we all have. We all do that, and as it should be. And how cool of it that your mom did that? That's ridiculous.
I know.
That's so cool.
It really was. It also, I love the fact that, as big as things are with the internet and technology, that it's still somewhat of a small town where you can find people's numbers. Maybe that might be scary to some, but in a small town like that with Texarkana, like, is this your number? Yeah, and he calls back, and then they chat, and it's like, and they had mutual friends that they know through church and stuff like that, so they chatted for a while, I think. So that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Talk about family, as you said, like Ollie and the rest of the gang. But I do have a fun little thing for you. As you know, I told you my story. Super Bowl 30 ended for a great way for half the side of my family. The other half, it ended up with my uncle in jail and my mom in jail, thanks to that's how we do football. Right. Anywho, you're also talking to a guy who wears Barry Church's pants on game day, okay? So let's just be real here. My cousin woke me up with the message, finally got rid of the cancer to a headache. And I said, well, hold on. What's a headache? Well, Dallas is always in the news. To them, that's a headache. Thanks, Steelers fans. And then the cancer. Well, is he really a cancer because he wants the ball? That's not a bad thing. You've said it. Multiple people have said it. Every wide receiver is this way. But I do have a question for you, Nick.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if you could help me.
Okay.
Has anybody checked in on Jerry frickin' Jones? Because I've never seen him move and do things like this. What is Jerry Jones doing? I love it. Who is this guy? Give me 30 years back and do it again. What is this? What have you been hearing? Is he actually trying to do something? Is this an apology letter to the Dallas Cowboys fans for the last crap year that we got last year? Are you, really, Nick, who is he? Who is this? You draft good? You're trading? You're actually doing something instead of just going, well. You're doing it.
All right. There we go. All right. Pretty excited over there. I'm laughing because I'm like, this is a better move than getting Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore within 1 week. That was just a couple years ago. That was some pretty good stuff. The Mingo trade obviously was not on this level. This is the biggest thing that we've seen them do trade wise in a long time. Because I do put this higher than the other guys because those guys were good players that had been really good, and then kind of at the tail end of their career. This guy can be he still has a lot of football left in front of him. I don't know what Pittsburgh would be like. Well, let's get rid of the guy, whatever the reasons, because we don't know all the stories there. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, this is a fresh start for him. Different quarterback, different culture, different locker room, different situation. Tomlin been there for a long time, and I think he's a great coach. There's no doubt about it. I don't even think that's an opinion. That's a fact. He is a great coach. I'm sure it got to a time where it was time to move on. But I do think that it could be a good fit here. He's probably not going to be asked to do the same things when you have a star receiver on the other side. But the big question for him is, can he handle that? If he doesn't want the football, and he was pretty much their best option down the field. Then if he wasn't getting it enough, is he going to be okay with a guy here that, CeeDee Lamb gets about 100 catches a season as well? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. As we're all saying, let's get him on the field. Let's see what happens. Let's see what his attitude looks like and how he meshes with everybody. But if he, from the highlights that I'm seeing here, he just seems like a guy that can not only stretch the field vertically but also across the field. And that, when you have a player that can take it from stride from one side to the other, man, it sure does open up a lot of things. So I'm excited about it, and if Pittsburgh's excited, great. Maybe we'll see what they were, what the situation is. But I think everybody gets a fresh start. Everybody starts at zero again, and we'll see what happens. Let's go to a break here real quick on Cowboys Storyline. Be right back after this.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? All new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbers, pot pie, and potatoes next oval with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline here. In case if you just joined us and haven't really heard what was going on, get that rock off of you. But George Pickens, the Cowboys have traded for the Steelers wide receiver. They sent a 3rd-round pick next year. They're swapping picks in 2027 as well, and a 5th and 6th swap there. But the big part of it, 3rd-round pick next year for George Pickens. That is the trade. This is his 4th season. I believe he's 24 years old, 6'3", 200 pounds, out of Georgia. Dynamic player. It's got some of the best highlight catches that you've seen in a while. He had some really good. He had a catch, I believe it was his rookie year, that, and it's hard. It's hard for anyone to say, well, this is as good as the Odell catch. But it was in the conversation. It was in the conversation. Is this catch as good as the one that Odell had against the Cowboys back in 2014? Whether it is or isn't, it's pretty good. It's kind of like what I always say about, is LeBron better than Michael Jordan? Well, it doesn't. If he is or if he's not, whatever. That's an argument for another time. But let's talk about the fact that he's just in the conversation. That's good enough. Don't hate the guy because he's not. Same thing. If it's not as good as that catch, well, maybe it was or it wasn't. But it just shows what type of player that you're getting. I do have a question in on the text line. This is from Joe in Stanford, Texas. Joe says, hey, I think this is an ideal situation to get the most out of Pickens. Contract year on a low cap hit. Worst case, we get a 4th or 5th comp pick. Great move. And what he's talking about is, let's say they don't re-sign him and he's a free agent at the end of the year. Then you're going to get some kind of compensatory pick for him in 2027, I believe. So, we're getting way ahead of the game for a guy that probably hasn't even picked out his jersey number yet. So, but that's okay. I mean, that's kind of what we do here. But I think what you have to do though from the Cowboys, you have to look at it and go, all right, do we sign him? Do we not? What happens here? And I do think it'll be, it'll be a situation that we'll see how it goes as the year develops. And I'd have a hard time thinking that they sign him to an extension right now, but maybe so. You know, it's all about, does he want to bet on himself? Does he want to go and try to get that $25 million a year contract, or does he settle for something a little bit less right now? So, but yeah, this is the last year of his deal. He was a second-round pick out of Georgia, and this would be, I guess, his fourth season with the team. So, final year of that contract. All right, let's go to Chris in Saratoga Springs, New York. Chris, what's up?
Not much, Nick. I'm absolutely in love with the deal we just made for Mr. Pickens.
All right.
Look at the quarterbacks that he's had throughout his career and the numbers he's put up with those quarterbacks. I mean, he's getting Dak Prescott now. On the opposite side, you have CeeDee Lamb. It's just going to be unbelievable offensively. It's going, like you said earlier, it's going to open up everything. You can't double both of them, so that's going to open up the run game. And once the run game opens up, that's going to open up the play action. It's going to open up absolutely everything, and I couldn't even believe waking up to this news. And I honestly was disappointed we didn't get a wide receiver in the draft, but in hindsight, I think Jerry just made an incredible genius move by taking that cornerback in the third round this year. Now we have him and George Pickens. That cornerback wasn't going to be there next year in the third round. So what we got now is that cornerback in the third round and George Pickens. I think it was genius by Jerry Jones, and it's about time. It's a long time waiting for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that you're right. I mean, they knew what they were doing. I mean, they knew they had some moves on the table, and they, I think Amari Cooper's name was mentioned. That was an option for them. They had plenty of options. They did. And now I'm seeing some of these highlights. I totally forgot about him and Jordan Lewis having that beef in the game last year when they played up in Pittsburgh. But anyways, sorry to get sidetracked there. But I think the Cowboys had a plan on fallback plans of, because if Ted McMillan was there at number 12 overall, I bet the Cowboys take him, and they probably don't make this move. Maybe they make a trade for a guard. So maybe that was part of the plan. So, the dominoes will always kind of fall the way they fall. But I'm sure a move like this was always there. And I think when you look at what the Cowboys did in some of the picks that they made, and then to throw Pickens in on the deal. I mean, he's 24 years old. He's not that much older than some of the picks that are coming in. So he's still a young player. I'm not saying add him to the draft class, but I am saying that it's another young talent that you bring in, like you do with draft picks, and we'll see how it all meshes in together. All right, Gavin in Oklahoma City is next.
Nick,
what's up?
What's the feel? How you feel?
I like it. I mean, I've said, I think this is a good move for this team because can he play? Yeah. We'll worry about all the other stuff later. But if you've got your culture, you got your locker room the way you want it, you should be able to handle this kind of stuff. It's not about the greatest teachers in the world, not just teaching the kids at the top of the class. They're the ones that can teach all of the kids and teach it and figure out the right way to do it. So let's see how Schottenheimer handles this thing. Let's see how Dak handles it. And let's see how George Pickens handles a new environment.
Nick, StoryLiners, we back in the mix.
All right.
We back in the mix, y'all.
Uh-oh. High expectations now?
We back in the mix. Now, hold on. Nick, I need you to do me a favor.
What's up?
I need you to walk next door, knock on the door. Hey, Jerry, Stephen, the job's not done. If we going in, let's go in. Let's make a call to Jacksonville. Hey, I heard y'all not feeling that ETN character too much. We got some compensatory picks coming up. You take this little fifth rounder. We'll take them off your hands. Buda Baker, Arizona. I heard y'all not getting along too well. Asante Samuel, why are you still a free agent? Something must be wrong. You want this minimum? J.K. Dobbins, you want this minimum? Let's keep building this roster. The job's not done, man, but we're close. We're close, y'all. We're close. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Let me calm down and ask these questions and get off of here. My first question is, I don't really make this move for Pickens if I don't at least consider signing him. Do you think that's a consideration? If someone already asked that, I'm sorry, I haven't been listening.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
is that a consideration?
It has to be a consideration. You don't want to give up a third-round pick for somebody just to rent the player. I don't think the Cowboys are that good of a team where they're one player away from going out and just this is the guy they need to go over the top. So hopefully this is a move for long term as well. At least to see how things are and give you the opportunity. I think third round's a perfect range of if it doesn't work out, well, it didn't work out, and you get some comp
That's
picks.
where I'm at. I'm with you on that. Right now, I'm sure the rest of Cowboys Nation, the front office just gave us a cookie. I don't give a hoover, you know what, if they do sign them or not right this second, but that's a consideration. And number two, what do you think this team needs to possibly get over the hump after this move? And all I'll say is, man, I don't think y'all ever heard me excited before, but I bleed blue, man. I got my wisdom teeth taken out the other day.
Nice.
And after I woke up, they said, why is your blood blue? You know? But, hey, me and Carolina got snubbed from that first team. I'm coming for it this year. Carolina, shout out to you, too. Let's go get this. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. All right. Gavin, I thought you'd be appreciative of, second team. I mean, I had to draw the line somewhere. And it really went down to calls. If I remember correctly on my list, I do think you were kind of right there on the edge, but had to draw it. And actually, to be honest, I made a switch right at the very end and added people on the first team, like on the fly. After the show had already started, I think I just took the 4 captains and took them off the team and said they're off the team, and I moved everybody up. So I'm scrambling, doing some math there. Anyways, it's all the same. You get the same mug. But it's funny that you mentioned Carolina because Carolina is actually the next one on the call. Carolina, what's up?
What's up, my guy? How you doing?
Where you at right now?
I'm in your hometown today, bud.
Shreveport?
Yes, sir.
Spent my first 365 days of my life there. It was fun. I'll tell you what, it was a good time. For sure.
I bet you got a lot of memories.
Milk, probably. All right, before this thing gets crazy, let's go. Carolina, what you got?
Oh, man. Actually, man, you broke the news for me today, man. I just got up, cracked open some Red Bull, and I cut on the show and said, got George Pickens. I said, oh, wow, it's been in the news, but I didn't know if they're really going to do it. So that just, I don't know, man, that just gave me a jolt of energy. People say, oh, I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid again. I'm always drinking the Kool-Aid. I just got me an extra cup. I got a refill after I heard that news. So now, people say, he got character issues, but, I mean, at the end of the day, man, this is football. No one's perfect. And guess what we need? We need a dog.
That's right.
We need multiple dogs. We need a dog pound.
Right.
We're going to become a top-notch team. So we're getting the dog. So I look at it as a win-win. And I'm just sitting back looking like, dang, man, this free agency has actually been pretty decent.
Yeah.
They should have said all in this year. This should have been swapped. It's like they're all in. Like they're giving Shotty basically everything he needs to be successful. So if it was up to you, what would you guess on the win record for this year?
Oh.
What would you? I'm going 10. I'm going 10, man. At least 10.
Yeah,
I'm going 10.
I think that's a good start. They were 7-10 last year with a lot of injuries.
And a backup quarterback.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones was at Dak. So are they 3 wins better than they were last year? I think so. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, you could argue, into the 11 range. I mean, things have to go right for those kind of seasons. You really have to stay healthy, and things have to go right. And somebody that we're not counting on has to emerge. That's what I think has to happen. A couple years ago, it was Ferguson and Bland. Those guys took it to another level. Who's ready to do that? Who's going to say?
I think it should be 3 players.
Who?
I think it should be Mingo as being that third good backup option outside of Pickens. Because we know Turpin's going to get his touches. I mean, they ain't paying for nothing. So that's something that you expect. And I also would say one of the running backs, and you got to, just how you said it before, the tight end has to get involved. We don't know who it's going to be. Ferguson, Schoolmaker. I've seen the interview, and Ferguson seems like he's all bought in. So let's hope that Ferguson takes this jump and moves forward. I mean, this is his contract year, right?
Yes.
So he's gonna have to, you know, raise the bar, or his contract won't be there.
Yeah. Well, the guy that I would pick there that I would want to really take that step up would be Tyler Guyton. I mean, this would be a perfect opportunity for him at left tackle to kind of take control there. But any of those defensive ends, opposite of Micah would be great too. You know, I mean, is it going to be Fowler again? Is it Nealon, Azaraku, Sam Williams coming back from injury? I saw Sam the other day. He looks really good, and he's ready to roll. Remember, that injury was early that was training camp. So
that was like the second week of training camp or something.
Now,
like
it
that?
was a significant injury. I mean, if I remember correctly, I think it was ACL and MCL maybe. So it's a tough injury for him, but he looks good, and it's contract year for Sam Williams. So I think we're going to be hearing that term a lot, contract year, and they have a few guys to re-sign, and they just added one there with George Pickens. All right, Carolina.
Right, this is my last thing before I go, man. Didn't it feel like a new team to you? The energy just feels different, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it feel like
it is.
This straggling along. It feels like how Nick said it. Just like this hope.
Yeah.
It's like this hope again. And when you got that, man, when you got players willing to go, anything is possible. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Go Cowboys.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'll say this. Last year when they went to training camp, they had 90 players and they had 30 coaches, give or take. The coaches. This year they got about 25 new coaches and at least 31 or 31 new players. So of the 120 players and coaches that are here right now, I think you would say almost half, about 56 out of 120 were not here last year. So now Schottenheimer was. That's a little different. I mean, because it doesn't sound like you're getting the same shoddy as you had before. So, yes, it's a new team. It is a new team. It's not about does it feel like a new team. It is. There's 31 new players on this team. And what I'm not even talking about training camp. When I counted the final roster of the football team last year, there's 30 new guys here. And that's now they're not all going to be here. Some of them were signed in the offseason and probably, could be released at some point before training camp. Who knows? But it is a different team. It's a different staff. The only thing that's really the same are you guys, the fans. I mean, and which is great. But yeah, it's definitely a new team. Let's go to one more caller before we go to break. Rick in Massachusetts. What's up, Rick?
Hey, Nick. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's been difficult to get in the last few weeks, but I just want to thank you for StoryLiner's first team.
There you go.
Chris has my information, so we're good to go with that.
Good. That's awesome.
And
did you pick blue or black?
I picked blue.
All right, cool. Fortunately, we've had some pretty good mix there. Some people want the blue one, some people want the black one, some people don't care. It's going to work out. We're really good, so I like that.
Yeah. I was at work this morning. I was like, I saw a post or something. I'm going, I don't know, maybe it's a rumor. Let me go to Twitter and let me check it out. I see Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. And okay, yeah, I'm in.
Yep.
After hearing all what we got for him and saying, okay, yeah. And then looking at the highlights of him, I'm going, okay, yeah, we got our deep threat.
Yeah.
Opposite of CD and makes CD available more so he doesn't get double teamed.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And I would imagine Pickens gets his share of double teams there with Pittsburgh because they didn't have a lot of great options at receiver. He was their best player to get the ball down the field. So he probably saw his share of double teams that he's not going to see that as much here. So something has to give. You can't cover them all. It's a kind of a pick your poison type offense now, and that's exactly what you want. When you're trying to build this thing.
The only addition there, maybe pick up, maybe a couple, but it's like if they're interested, it would be a Nick Chubb or a veteran cornerback or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since. I mean, would they pick up Jair Elam? I mean, that feels like about 6 months ago, and that was the first part of that was one of the first trades. This team's made how many trades is that? Like at least 3 that I can think of. I think I'm missing one because I know they traded for Murray and Elam, and now the receiver Pickens. But I feel like there's been another one in there too. So there's been some trades.
Yeah, this year has been very active, with trades and free agency and signing on players and the draft, and more action we've had in the past 3 years.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Yeah, the other person would say would probably finding a defensive tackle, but that's hopeful.
Yeah. I mean, that's still a need. No, they did draft a couple of guys late in the draft that they're excited about, but I don't know if those would be the guys that could really carry the load here. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more of a veteran, experienced guy. You've got Mazi and Osa, and then maybe somebody else in there. There's kind of a drop off there to a bunch of young players. So yeah, I could see that being a move. If there's a guy out there that you could acquire.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Nick,
Thanks,
and have a good day.
You too. Good call. Good hearing from you, Rick in Massachusetts. Let's go to break here real quick on the Storyline. Be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
To Cowboys Storyline.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline here. Wednesday, May 7th. It's been a good show so far. Been going for about an hour. A lot of good calls. A lot of talk about George Pickens. A lot of excitement about getting this guy into this offense, and we'll see what he brings off the field. We'll see what he brings into the locker room, but I think this team can handle just about anything. What they need is a really good dynamic wide receiver, and that's what he is, and that's a guy that I think CD is happy about, and I'm sure he's probably happy to join up with a guy like CD, and Dak Prescott has to be. So everyone seems to be really on board with this. And even sounds like people in Pittsburgh are on board with it as well. Maybe they're kind of tired of the act there. And you know what? And we've seen that too. We've seen that where we've had players were good players, but probably time to just move on. And that's kind of what it sounds like it is in Pittsburgh. And again, a new situation for him, and we'll see how he meshes it. But I think the Cowboys should be, and the fans should be, really excited about getting. This is the type of move that you've been asking for. You want to bring in a really good player, good young player, and that's exactly what they're getting. All right, Erwin in Colorado is next. Erwin, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Nick? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. So I think it's an excellent trade by Jerry Jones. I think all the fans have been kind of wondering when he was going to start making some moves. It appears that he's kind of really doing that now. First thing I did this morning when I saw the news, I texted my son because he was pretty pissed off about the draft. He really wanted the Cowboys to draft a wide receiver to help CD, and he's coming along now with the whole Booker draft. I think that was a great choice, getting a really good offensive lineman like that. And now they got Pickens to help CD. So, I mean, really, you talk about the fans, they should be really happy. I know my son's extremely happy because, like I said, he really wanted a receiver in that draft, but he got one now.
Yeah. Yeah, he got one. I mean, after McMillan, and you can argue that they're about the same, but after McMillan, you can't get a receiver in the second round on. You cannot get a receiver that's a playmaker like him. So,
no. And on top of that, I mean, you draft a young receiver like that, it's going to take a year or two for them to really come around to the system and stuff. And Pickens, you don't really have to worry about that.
You don't have to worry about that. You may have to worry about some other stuff, but yeah, you don't have to worry about that. But you're right. I mean, and they're all like that. I mean, with McMillan, the talk was, does he like football? Does he like to study? Does he, of that video that came out? When again, it's young people do young people things. That happens. There's a level of maturity that we're asking Micah to have. They're not all Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, that's just there's not a lot of receivers like that were really, really good, and you didn't see to have a lot of problems. The Marvin Harrison types and all that. I mean, most of them want the football, and they don't like it when they don't get it. That's not the worst thing. That's how you shut Michael Irvin up. You give him the freaking football. Same with Dez,
right.
And with Pickens and CD, you can't. They make it work in Philly. You know what I mean? They made it work in Indianapolis. 2 of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. So there's a way to get the 2 guys the football.
Hey, if I can make one more point before I let you go to get some more callers quickly. You had an earlier caller, what do we need next? I really think the Cowboys need to try to swing some kind of deal somewhere, somehow, to get them a big, nasty defensive tackle for the run and possibly a cornerback because what's going on with Dick right now. So, and thanks for taking my call.
Hey,
Nick.
Erwin, real quick. Erwin, do you want your third team all storyline? You want the blue or the black Yeti?
I want the black.
All right.
And I appreciate that, Nick.
No problem. Appreciate you. 2-time all storyline team member, calling from the very first days that we did the show. Appreciate you as well. And shout out to your son. It sounds like he's really excited about it, just like a lot of fans are. All right. And we just said that about defensive tackle and corner. But those are 2 positions I could see them still adding if the right move came along. All right. I'm really excited. I'm excited about all calls. Excited about this one more than anyone else. Hope you guys will understand. I know you will. Randy in Texarkana is on the line. Randy.
What's up, the quickest of the Knicks?
How
are you doing?
Who cares how I'm doing, man? How are you doing? Give
us an
update.
I am at the house. All the prayers and all the nice things that the storyline and everybody else has passed along to me came true. We got our test results back a few days back, and all signs are they got it all. So I am, as of right now, I am cancer clear.
Chris, we have anything for that. Chris.
Here we go.
How about them Cowboys? All of them.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, yes. And on top of that, I find out I made it to being a captain. That was pretty cool. I got a few people I'd like to thank for that. First of all, I'd like to thank Beyonce because, I hear bad things happen if you don't thank her first. I'd like to thank Mr. Nick and Mr. Chris, obviously, for being what are y'all? Are y'all the coaches, or are you the owners, or how do we?
I think maybe the head coach.
Head coach, there you go.
That'll be a good question for him. I just work here, man.
Chris is playing with some big drops back there. I don't know, man.
That's awesome.
Chris is he gets it done back there too. Like I don't know, general manager, all that kind of stuff, but he definitely we're not doing the show without him. So
absolutely, I'd like to thank both of y'all for making this show possible for us fans because. During all this, I had a lot of the storyline ladies and gentlemen get in touch with me and help me out, and it meant the world, and I just hope all of them hear this and know that I can never thank any of y'all enough. And last, I'd like to thank my wife, Belinda, for being by my side through the whole thing. And, man, we're out the other side of it, and it's just time to heal and get back to football.
That's so awesome. I appreciate you calling in with such a great, positive attitude all the time. That's what made you. And I'll just say this, and I hope you believe it. I hope other people believe it. Chris knows. He saw the list. You were a captain before we even knew anything of this was going on. This is not a sentimental thing like, oh, we got to make him. No, absolutely
right.
not. This was done a couple of months ago. It just took us a while to figure out what we're doing. Shirts? Are we doing Yetis? What are we doing? But this was absolutely in the works long before we heard any of that kind of stuff. I hope you know that and believe that, because that
I believe you. That's awesome, guys. And the pressure's on, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And also, I want to let you know that you come from good people, so I know what you mean by that. And
well, I already mentioned that on the show. I already mentioned
did you? Okay, okay.
I did mention it on the show, so you can go ahead. My mom, Camille Schultz, she lives in Texarkana. Now, the plan, Randy, was she was like, well, there's only one hospital in town. I'm going to go up there. And I'm like, really? Like, maybe if there's anyone that could make it work, it would be my mom. She would turn any awkward situation into a great situation. So,
right.
But I think when she called, you'd already left the hospital, so she got your number and y'all chatted for a little bit. How's she doing, by the way? She doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing great. And she offered to cook me supper and bring it out. And it turns out we actually have a circle of friends that we all know each other. And so that is a small world, It's crazy. She goes to church with my brother-in-law's parents. Or, well, she did. They've passed recently, but
that's all right.
Yeah, but no, that's fine. But so that was really awesome of her reaching out like that. I thought the world over, and that was it's too good to be true, guy. This is. I think you need to win you one of those little Emmy things for putting on a show like that, because this is unique, you know.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We have a lot of fun doing it. That's the most important thing. We have a lot of fun, and you're right. The element of family. I think a couple of people have already said it. It's a family. That's what the storyline has been, and it's so awesome to be a part of it. And Randy, I'll ask you. We're excited about that, but everybody's excited about this move with George Pickens. What's your take on it?
I'm actually excited about it too, because I hadn't been hearing what everybody else's reactions are. I heard that this guy has a tendency to be a little bit of a knucklehead. But the type of man that Schottenheimer is, I think just his overall vibe that he brings to the team, I kind of think he can calm down guys like that.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling that he may actually be able to get something out of this guy. And if we can, then here's another one of Jerry's second round blown out knee picks that he takes a chance on that hopefully it'll hit, and that's kind of where I think that falls in line, is because he didn't really give up that much for what this guy's talent is.
Exactly. No,
I don't think.
That's a fair point. And Randy, I have to ask you this. At what age in your life did you stop being a knucklehead?
Oh boy, last Tuesday, I think.
I was gonna say next year for me. That's the year I plan on stop. But last Tuesday. That's cool. That's awesome.
Last Tuesday when I had my surgery, and that's when life got super real for me, and but hey, it don't mean that I can't pull it back out when I need to,
That's awesome. Randy, we can talk to you all day long. We are going to keep it going. I'm really excited, that you were able to call when you did, and it's been perfect, because hopefully you can go back and listen to the show, because I think just about everybody has mentioned, or a lot of people have given some prayers and support to you. So please, when you get a chance, go back and listen to the show.
Guys, and I love every one of y'all for that. That means the world. It's awesome. Hey, I did actually try to call in Wednesday after my surgery. We did. I'm not kidding you. We just couldn't get through. You probably wouldn't have wanted to speak to me that day, though, because my wife told me that they were asking me who my favorite mother-in-law was, my favorite sister-in-law, and then they got to the wives, and they said, so who's your favorite wife?
Okay.
And I said, here is Belinda, but I've got 2 more living in Utah or Idaho or something like that, and I don't know where they came from. I guess we were watching one of those commercials of those sharing wives up
Sister
north
wives
there
or
or something.
something.
Yeah, and so it got into my
my
mind there, and so yeah, I was saying crazy stuff. So it might have.
Shame on them for asking questions. I mean, come on. Come on.
Oh, it was all in fun. Yes, they were setting me up pretty good to get myself in trouble, but luckily I came out of it okay.
All right. Sounds good. All right, Randy, great to hear from you. So glad you're doing well, and hopefully everything just continues to go on the right path. All right, that's Randy in Texarkana, one of our favorites for sure. Let's keep it going, though, man. I've never been to Fernandino Beach, Florida. But sure does sound fun. I mean, that sounds like a cool place to be. Keith is there. Keith, what's up?
Yes, Keith is here. So it's Fernandina Beach.
Beach.
It is actually on Amelia Island, which is a barrier island right off the coast of Florida. It's North Florida, kind of close to Jacksonville. So that's kind of where I'm at. But
all right.
Thank you for taking my call, Nick. And I'm going to just echo what we're hearing is that I'm excited about this trade. The way I look at it, we could have had a 31-year-old, Mari Cooper on a 1-year deal. We could have had a 33-year-old Keenan Allen on a 1-year deal, or we could have had a 24-year-old George Pickens who has something to prove. And it's basically a 1-year deal because he's on his rookie contract. So kudos to the Joneses, man. This is great. That being said, I still feel like that we need some help at cornerback. Maybe just for the first half of the year until we can get some of these guys back. But I would like to see one more move, and I'd like to see them bring in a veteran cornerback. What are your thoughts? And I'll hang up and listen.
I thank you for the call, Keith. Appreciate that. And I've said it a couple times already. Defensive tackle seems like a one where you could get a little help there, some experienced help. Now, if these two guys, they're not all Jay Ratliff that you draft in the 7th round, and even Jay Ratliff took a year or two before he really developed. So to think that you're going to get 7th round defensive tackles that are come right in and be ready to go, that's kind of far-fetched in my opinion. Now we'll see. We'll see. Jay Toya and Tommy Akinbasote, which he needs a nickname for sure. But those two guys, they're excited about. But I could see a little bit more veteran help if there is some out there. And then cornerback, you've got Bland and Elam. Obviously, Revel, he will probably be ready to go at some point in training camp. I think the big question with Savone Revel is, can he play in a preseason game? Can you get him some snaps in the 3rd preseason game? Now, you're not rushing it. That's not the most important thing, but it would be really good to get him some, if he's ready, to get him some reps there in a preseason game, and then a couple weeks later, you're ready to go for the season. Because he's probably going to start off on PUP, which gives him the option to miss the first 4 games of the season. But I don't know if it'll get to that point. He was doing some workout here, and they were throwing the ball around to him, and he couldn't do everything, but he was doing some stuff, and they were kind of holding him back a little bit. But I think by training camp, he said it, and of course, players, he could probably go tomorrow if you ask a player, but he thinks he will be able to do some stuff at training camp. And so I think that, when you ask one of the trainers, their focus is always the first game, But if he's never played before, it's one thing if you're a 3 or 4 year veteran, you've played football in the NFL, and you're going out there, and your very first game. I would love for him to get a preseason game in there. I think that would be beneficial for him, but we'll see. But cornerback, though, that's another position I think they could add a little bit there. All right. Next caller is Raphael in Louisville, Kentucky. I know I've never said that before. Raphael in Louisville.
Well, I gotta get you straight, Nick. It's Louisville. If you're from here, it's Louisville, not Louisville.
It's Louisville.
Louisville. They say Louisville here if you're actually from here. So.
I'm not. I'm sorry, Louisville.
That's all good.
And
That's
I
all
live
good.
really close to Louisville, Texas. Okay, so we say that. I know.
I know about Louisville. I was in Austin for a minute. Well, I watched Austin grow from 2014 to 19. But
all right,
me and Chris had a really good conversation. My main thing is I'm really excited about what we did in the wide receiver position. I was a little concerned about Amari Cooper coming in there. Nick, I've been following you since she was on the break with Derek and bro.
Yeah.
So I know I'm my first time. Cause I told Nick, I said, "Don't give me the here we go." He's, "I'm gonna give it to you anyway." Here we go. I'm like, "No, don't worry about that."
Well, we got to do it anyways. We got to do it anyways. But
I've been listening to every to all your calls and all your shows and stuff like that for the most part. Been a diehard fan since '76, bro.
Okay.
So my main thing is I'm excited about this receiver position. I thought we was going to try to bring Amari back, right?
Yeah.
But to bring this guy, it's awesome. I just know without a shadow of a doubt, Brian's going to get him right. Coach Schotty's going to get him right.
I think so too.
Look, you're number 2, not a number 1. Plain and simple. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of respect for Tomlin, and I think Tomlin tried to get it right as well. But I think at some point you got to be humbled a little bit, like you said. You're a number 2, especially here. But the pressure's off. You don't. Well, I will say pressure's off. There's pressure's never off. He needs to. He needs to get a big contract, but he's not going to see the double teams that he was seeing in Pittsburgh. He's just not. And if so, then
correct.
Then CD's going to have 200 catches.
Correct.
So,
that's an awesome point. And I hope to goodness that calls into the Dak yard.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'd love to see him out there too. Mingo, Tolbert. We're not even talking about the guy that led the team in touchdowns last year. And
that part. Nobody they missed that because everybody keeps saying no number 2, right?
Yeah. Nobody's been disrespected this offseason more than Jalen Tolbert. I mean, that's just the way it is. And
real talk, Nick. Real talk.
But the Cowboys are doing it too. The Cowboys wanted to draft McMillan. They wanted to trade for Pickens. They see what we all see. Yes, he's caught some touchdowns, but who is afraid of Jalen Tolbert? I just don't think anyone is. But
nobody.
They should be afraid of George Pickens. And you know what? If Tolbert has something to say about that, what a great year, another contract year. What a great year to prove all of us wrong. So go out there and do that.
Yep. Put it all on the line for everybody.
Say where you're from one more time.
I love it.
Say where you're from because I'm not saying it right. Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville, but I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. But I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky.
But how did I say it? Louisville?
Yeah, you said Louisville, but it's Louisville, Georgia. It's Louisville, Texas. Yeah, I was in Austin.
It's Louisville. All right, Louisville.
But we say Louisville if you've been here. I went to high school and college here. I went to the high school right across from the University of Louisville. So there's a lot of talent that comes out of there, too, as well.
Definitely. All right. Sounds good. Raphael, good to hear from you. Glad
you too, brother.
You joined the show as a first-time caller. We have another first-time caller that's calling in. Now, I know he's not a first-time listener because he listens to it all the time. Brian in Texarkana. Brian, what's up?
Nick, what's up, man? It's
Brian,
great to hear from you again.
Brian, who's your dad?
My dad is Randy from Texarkana.
Well,
yes, sir.
We are so happy that of the news that we got.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you. Somebody has to be strong for the family. And I would imagine, and I've met you, right? We met at the game.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Yeah.
The game that we got pummeled at.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Don't worry about that. That's fine. Pre-game was fun. I met you there. And I appreciate you for being strong for the family and doing things to send some messages out and try to honor your dad and all that. I applaud you for that.
Of course. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And, the reason why I was calling is because I wanted to thank every one of you as well.
Yeah.
Y'all have been a blessing to us and specifically to my dad.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. He has a passion for the Cowboys, like all these callers do. And,
yes, sir.
And how, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 26.
26.
I didn't get to see the glory years, unfortunately.
Yeah. You haven't seen that. It's been well documented, and that was kind of my point. And I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. Being a Dallas Cowboy fan, a diehard fan, you don't really choose it. It chooses you. In this case, you had no choice. You had no choice.
Yes, sir.
Right? And I appreciate the young fans for saying, hey, it's not just about who's my favorite team. Oh, these guys win. That's my favorite team. It's about family. I didn't choose to be an Arkansas Razorback fan. It was my family.
Yes, sir.
Lord knows we don't win all the time, but that's what it is. This passion stems from family, and so I really appreciate all the stuff that you've done, and I know you're carrying the torch as a big fan as well.
Yes, sir, I am, man. And we'll never give them up. Unfortunately, we're in a rough patch, but we're going to get there, and I'm excited for the George pickup. I think it's gonna relieve a lot of pressure off of Dak and CD as well. But I just wanted to call and introduce myself and say thank you to Irene and Dylan and you, of course, and Chris and everyone that's been so supportive of him and us. And it's just meant too much. So,
well, I know it's been a stressful few months, and I'm so happy of the news that we got, and so happy you guys have been able to be strong and fight through it.
Of course, yes, sir. I won't hold you too much longer. I will say that I'm excited to try your mother's cooking, though.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's pretty good. I can promise you that. It's pretty good. So, take her up on that offer. She's not one that just says it. She means it for sure. So, definitely we'll do that. All right. Well,
yes, sir.
Appreciate that. And that's a great – thanks for the call, Brian. Son of Randy, but you know what, Brian, you can call anytime if you want, or if Randy just want to pass the phone over to him next time you call, we'll take 2 calls at once. But that segue, talking about my mom who called and chatted with Randy, it's a great segue to talk about Mother's Day coming up, and just a happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. Mine included, my wife Julie, great mother as well, and they are always the rock of the family, and I say most of the time, at least that's my experience of it as well. So what a great show, guys! This has been a lot of fun. We did a lot of stuff here. We talked about a lot of things, most notably the trade for George Pickens. The Cowboys pick up a wide receiver for the Steelers. Should come right in and be the number 2 guy. Dynamic playmaker. We'll see how he fits with the team, but he can play, and that's the most important thing. The Cowboys need to figure out how to get him the football and how to make it work with everyone. I'm sure that they will. I know everyone's excited about it. Seems like we got 17 calls. I think there were 17 people on here really excited about the pickup for George Pickens. All right, stay with us here on DallasCowboys.com, because the Cowboys break will be coming up here. I think they've made a few changes in their lineup as well, so you'll be able to check that out here coming up here in a few minutes. So, but for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eben. We will see you next week on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!